All right, happy Monday, you guys. This is the last Monday of October. You guys, literally, when a year starts, we got 12 like blank boxes, right? 10 is getting checked off. Like time is going. I hope that tonight's call will just kick you into high gear for these last 5 days. I mean, I don't even want to call it 6 anymore because today is pretty much over, but I'm hoping that for the last 5 days of the month, you will be fueled, but also into the last final stretch of 2020. Real quick, couple of celebrations are in order. We have 2 gals who have checked off October to qualify for the Galentine's Getaway. Remember, it's so simple, you guys. You're going to help 3 people in October. You're going to help 3 people in November, and you're going to help 3 people in December. You're hitting Success Club in all 3 months, and you're going to grow your team by a minimum of 2 people. That's it between now and the end of the year. And then come the last pay cycle on the 31st of December, when you wake up, you need to have your rank back, essentially, right? There's different criteria depending on what rank you are, but you need to have your highest rank back, if not level up to the next. So active emeralds, active diamonds, all the things, right? So these ladies have checked off, actually both of them have not only checked off Success Club in October, and they just need to check it off in November, December, but they've also, both of them, grown their team by 2 people so far this month. So they've also gone emerald again, which is, guys, that's what we say. That's our base minimum, right? If you want a healthy foundation to grow a business in Beachbody, you're literally going to grow your team by 2 a month at a minimum and help 3 people get started with the total solution. These ladies are super close. I'm pretty sure that Amanda, Ashley, and Andrea all have SC4 at this moment, even if it's not updated completely in the system. On my end, I'm pretty sure they've all got SC4, if I'm doing my math correctly from what they've shared. And so they need one more person, and Kelsey is on the board. Love seeing her face on the board. She has helped one person, and I want to see more of your face on the board. Like, don't let October slip by and say, well, I blew it. Now I can't even qualify, right? Like, what a bummer of a place to start November. You know what I mean? I want you to be in a position where now in November and December, you're like hungry to go because you have no other choice, right? So don't stall out. 5 days left. Tonight, we're going to talk about, in honor of 30-day breakaway and our breakaway beauties kick starting today, I wanted to talk about how we can break away from things that have maybe held us back and break away into things that are going to serve our goals and our best self. So often, you guys, every day I posted something on Instagram on my story, I reshared something, and it was a video of a woman sharing that every day, you know, she has positive thoughts that come in her head. And for every positive thoughts, like, oh my gosh, you should go for it, there's always going to be a negative on the other flip side that says something like, no, you're not enough, or no, you could never do that, or right? Like, whenever there's this positive thought in your mind, chances are you could easily counter it with a negative thought. Here's the secret. The secret for successful people is they choose which one to listen to. They choose which one they let themselves fuel themselves with. I'm not perfect. I have a lot of negative thoughts, you guys, that cross my path on a daily basis. I am literally with a machete, like cutting out the negative thoughts so that I can grow into the person that I was created to be. It's what we choose. It's which one are we choosing to give life and energy to. So we're going to kind of talk through 7 different ways that I feel like people maybe stall out, get stuck. So maybe you've told yourself, here's a couple things that I was, thinking that maybe you've said to yourself or said recently. Maybe you feel like you should be further along in your business. You've told yourself, you should be further along than you are. Or maybe you feel like you're stuck in the present spot. You got to this place, you got on top of this mountain, and you're so proud of yourself for achieving, X, Y, or Z, but then you feel like you got stuck there. Or maybe you've told yourself recently that no one wants to join you, that you've invited everybody and that no one wants to join you, right? Or you've maybe begun to believe that this coaching isn't for you, that you weren't cut out for this, quote unquote. All of these are lies. There's lie about being further along. There's lie about being, that you're stuck. this lie that nobody wants to join you, and this lie that this isn't for you, they're not serving you. And so I want to walk through what's really happening. I want to talk through 7 areas where we get stuck and break away into how we can maybe get unstuck with them. So the first one that I've got for you, let me just kind of minimize this just a little bit. One of the first things I want us to break away from is limiting beliefs. Beliefs are everything in this business. Belief is why I see people quit before they even start, because of their own lack of belief. And what's crazy is in this business, there's 3 areas where I believe we foster belief. We believe in our own self and our own journey. We dig in and we believe in the team and the community that we belong to. And we also believe in the products that we represent, the business, the Beachbody as a whole, right? The company. And what's crazy is it's actually kind of backwards. You'd think like, okay, I got to believe in myself, and then I can believe in the team, and then I can believe in the company. But it's crazy. It's actually really backwards. I find that coaches most often will believe in the products first, right? They'll have an amazing transformation because of Shaun T, and they love him. And then they tried out Energize and fell in love. And then because it's Shaun T, they needed to recover, and they just believe in Beachbody because they have gone through a journey that transformed them. Okay. And then because of this journey, the people that they were surrounded with, the community that they belonged to, they built belief in that community because these people were supporting them in maybe some of their lowest of lows or the highest of highs. And so it's a community of strangers turned sisters that just support them. And so they have this belief in that. But what I find is oftentimes our belief in our own selves is the last thing to be developed. And really, I feel like it should be the first thing to be developed, right? Is to believe in ourselves before we believe in anything else. But it kind of is flipped around. And this is why. Because your behavior builds your belief. Every action you decide to take and every action that you choose not to take teaches you what to believe. When you decide not to get up when your alarm clock goes off, you teach yourself that you don't believe that you're worthy of giving yourself time in the morning just for you. When you choose not to invest in Shakeology because you think it's too expensive, you're teaching yourself that that dollar tag is too pricey for you. When you choose not to get on team calls, and I'm not even preaching, I'm preaching to the choir right now, but when you choose not to get on the team calls, you're teaching yourself not to believe in this community. But on the flip side, every time you cast a vote for the person you want to become, so I want to be a person that gets up every morning when my alarm goes off and I don't hit snooze. So every time you take action and you cast that vote and you choose to get up when 5:45 alarm goes off, you're teaching yourself to believe in your journey. Every time you get on a team call, even when you're freaking tired on a Monday because the work week has just began, but oh my gosh, it feels like it's been a month, you're casting a vote for the type of coach you want to be, the type of community you want to create. Every time you order Shakeology and then you talk to somebody about how it transformed your life, even when they tell you that they can't afford it, and you say, I used to feel the same way, but then I did, I tried it, right? You're casting belief that you believe in this product over the price tag, right? So it's like, which one do you want to believe? And you have a choice every time, one or the other. Behavior, your actions are building belief in yourself. They're building belief in how you feel about this community, and they're building belief in how you feel about the company and the products you represent. So we're going to break away from limiting beliefs. Every time one arises, we're going to build belief back in ourselves through the actions we take. The second thing that I find we have been getting stuck on, and I want us to break away from, is this like self-focus, this me focus. And I want to break out into making it about others. This is a business, you guys, that's based on serving and helping others. And so, for example, when I know what I have to offer is valuable, you're so much more likely to share it with other people and invite people in, right? I make it about others because I know the value it has. But it wasn't always like that. when I was not really running boot camps on my own, and I wasn't really, I didn't have like a monthly theme that I was doing. It was all about me. And so people weren't joining me. I showed up on social media and I waited for them to join me. And I showed up on social media and I waited for them to join me. And when they didn't join me, I had to take a good hard look at how I was serving, helping others. And something that switched for me was I stopped thinking about what, I was doing this month and the goals I needed to hit. And I started thinking about what my people needed from me. So things like my sugar detox that I created that I usually do in February around Valentine's Day, that was birthed. And that's something that I thought about because I thought, what do people need from me right now? Well, okay, their New Year's resolutions have already failed. That's where they're at in their head. They're already calling themselves a failure again. And they just ate all the boxes of chocolate and are not feeling so good about themselves. And so my people need a reset. They need a sugar detox. And so that's something I created to serve and help others because I got in their head. So right now, how can you get in the heads of the people you're trying to serve? What do they need from you? Okay? And when we're making it about others, this involves, you guys, knowing that our funnel has to continue to grow. When we make it about ourselves, we get stuck on that one person. We get stuck on, I'm going to keep inviting Sarah because one day Sarah's going to join me because she told me at one point that she really wanted to lose 10 pounds and look good. And so I'm only going to ever invite Sarah because I'm just counting on her. Or I sent Sarah more information. So I'm going to wait until Sarah decides to join and then I'll invite more people. But it's not about Sarah, is it? It's about, at that point, it's about you. It's about your ego and it's about you wanting one person to freaking join you. But when you have this abundance mentality and it's about others, there's never a drought. Your funnel never runs dry because you're always expanding your network. You're always reaching out to people and becoming a professional friend maker. You're always inviting people to join you, right? You're not waiting on anybody because it's never about that one person you're trying to quote unquote get. You're making it about all the people that you could serve and help along the way. It's a totally different mindset. I want to break away from this me mentality and break into making it about others. You have to be in a continuous state of building trust and relationships with new people all the time, you guys. You consider yourselves, please, professional friend makers on social media. That's what you do. You make friends on social media and you get really freaking good at it because you do it over and over and over again so often. Okay? The other thing I wanted to mention here too is I hear a lot of times like, oh, my warm market's drying up, or I don't want my. You'll never have a warm market dry up when you're always in that state of building trust and relationships with new people. And when I say new people, sometimes it's about renewing relationships with people too. You guys, Stephanie joined me this weekend. I performed with Stephanie when I was in college. My warm market's not dry, and I've been in this business 7 years. But was Stephanie ready to join me, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago? No, but I'm constantly in a state of building trust, showing up, renewing relationships with people, right? And being observant of who's watching me. Because when the timing is right, the timing is right. Next thing, we're going to break away from poor time management. And we're going to break into owning our schedules. I read this thing and it kind of struck me as odd. I had to kind of question it. And I hope you guys do this too. I hope you don't read everything and just proclaim it as truth. I hope sometimes you question it because something can sound real fancy, but not actually be quite right. And so I heard if you don't manage your time, you're just hurting yourself. And I thought about that for a second. I was like, that sounds real good off the tongue. If you don't manage your time, you're just hurting yourself. And then I thought about it and I was like, that's actually not completely accurate. In my life, if I don't manage my time in the morning and I own my schedule, then I'm hurting my team because I can't be present for them and the right capacity for them if I don't own my morning. If I don't manage my time properly during the day and I don't get the things I need to get done before Charlie gets home, then now I'm hurting my marriage because now I have to take away time that I would have spent with Charlie and devote it over here to something that I wasn't being disciplined with, right? And so managing your time isn't just about you. It will bring peace of mind, absolutely, but it's hurting everything that depends on you. So think really quick, like, what are the things in my life that depend on me? It could be your 9 to 5, it could be a spouse, it could be a child, it could be so many things. You know best what depends on you. But managing your time, taking ownership of the pockets of your time that you can dedicate to whatever priorities you have, it's going to only help everything else flourish. So for me, how do I own my schedule? Well, I have a paper planner. I'm not going to tell you to buy this one this year because I don't love it. I was testing out a new one this year, and for what it's worth, it's not my fave. But this is the time of year that I start to get a planner for the next year because, hello, we're getting close to the end of the year, right? Um, I live by a paper planner. I also live by scheduling out my week on Sundays. If that doesn't work for you, if Sundays don't work for you to write out your entire week, then plan some time on Saturday or brain dump on Friday what went wrong in your week and what you can do better the following week, right? Like be honest, do like an honest inventory on Fridays. I don't know what works for you. Maybe it's a Monday morning early thing that gets you in the zone for the week. I don't know. You do. But whatever that is, like make that your holy grail. That in order to own your Wednesday, it has to start by you sitting down and looking at the week at a full, right? So many times too I'll hear like, oh, I'm just not disciplined, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. But we don't just like get born disciplined. Like I learned to be disciplined through practicing discipline. So I do things even when I don't want to, because I'm teaching future me how I want to be. It builds grit in me, it builds perseverance, builds character, right? I wrote quit breaking promises to the one person who matters, because at the end of the day, going back to like that first slide about belief, Sean T is not going to be at your funeral. As much as you believe in Beachbody and T20, Sean T ain't going to be at your funeral. Sorry, ladies, to be the bearer of bad news. The other thing is our team is ebbing, flowing, evolving. It is a living, breathing organism. Our team is. So some of the people who are on our team right now and in our community, they're not always going to be there. Our team, the way it existed 7 years ago when I first began, does not exist in the same capacity now, nor do I see it existing in the same capacity in 7 years from now. So I don't need to keep promises to my teammates. Who I need to keep promises to is myself, right? Sometimes it goes so backwards, like, oh, I'm going to keep promises to Sean T because he's a stranger on the internet, like, 5 removed. Now I'm going to keep promises to my team because they're, no, keep the freaking promise to yourself because you're worth it. Again, we teach ourselves, like I said, we teach ourselves, our behavior builds our belief. So imagine if you had a friend and your friend said, okay, this is the week. This is the week that I am going to set my alarm for 5:45 and I will meet you at the gym at 6 a.m. And every day this week, they broke that promise to you. Their behavior would teach you that you probably don't trust in them or believe in them very much, right? The same is true for us. So if every day you say, this is the week, 5:45, the alarm goes off, 6 a.m., I'm working out, this is the week, and I'm going to do it Monday through Friday, this is the week, and you break that promise to yourself, you're teaching yourself not to trust yourself. The same applies with us. Okay? So be different. The world is constantly distracting you. You've probably already been distracted in the 23 minutes we've been on Zoom together so far. You've probably already had distractions come your way. So how can you be different? When you open up your Instagram, are you allowing Instagram to tell you what you need to look at? Or do you have a mission? When I open up my Instagram, I'm going to go straight to my stories. I'm going to look at the biggest view and I'm going to start engaging with the people who watched my largest story today. When I open up my Facebook, I'm going to go directly to the team page and I'm going to post the script that I used today for my invites because I want to offer value to the team. And so when I open my Facebook, that's exactly where I'm going. You guys have to have these like pep talks with yourself. Do you get it? Like Facebook and Instagram are going to try to suck you into a rabbit hole that is not going to serve your best self and your goals. You have to own your schedule and you have to own what you do with that time. You have to be different. The rest of the world is going to use this device to numb themselves and scroll. And you're going to use this device to change the freaking world, the trajectory of your world, the world of the people around you. That's what you can use this device for. Or you can be the same as everybody else. But I don't think you are. If you're on this call on a Monday night with me, I think you're different. Next one. We're going to break away from not setting goals out of fear. We're going to break away from setting like baby, silly, tiny, too small goals. And we're going to break into clarifying our goals. First, setting them, and then being very specific with them. Did you know, guys, less than 3 people actually write out their goals? At the top of this month, we had a team training, and I asked everybody for their October goals. What I'd love for you to do right now in the chat, drop what your goals were for October. And if you never wrote out your goals, I want you to join the 3%ers right now and tell us what your October goals are. Share in the chat what those goals were. You guys, but here's the kicker. As you're writing those and kind of reading everybody else's, less than 1% of people review and rewrite them on a daily basis. 99% of people, first of all, 97% of people aren't even going to put pen to paper. They might say a goal, but they're not going to actually write it out. And even more than that, 99% of people aren't even going to have them on the front of their mind on a daily basis. That's not you. It's so important that my goals are in front of me every single day, because otherwise, again, what's your clarity? When you open up social media, if you don't know that you're going to help 3 people this month, and it's the last week of the month, and you said you were going to help 3 people this month, that is your goal, right? And you open up social media and you just start, making a new post, well, that's not helping your goal. Your goal is to help 3 people. Maybe what you should do is invite and follow up, right? Or if you said your goal was you're gonna, bring 2 new people into your boot camp, but every time you craft a post, or I'm sorry, 2 new people onto your team, but every time you go to craft a post, you talk about, your fitness, or you talk about something else, and you never talk about coaching in the business, then your actions aren't in alignment with your goals. So when we say our goals, we rewrite them and we look at them daily. When we join that 1%er, when we do that, you guys, it brings clarity to our actions. And that changes everything. Because then you don't just sit down and not know what to do anymore. You have clarity around it. So I want to challenge you this week, every power hour you do this week, start by writing out your current goals. Set a timer for 5 minutes. I love doing this on Tuesdays, and I will do this tomorrow with us when you are on there with me live. I'm going to set a timer. We're going to write out what are you achieving this month? What are your current goals? What's in front of you? Because what that's going to do is it's going to force you to sit down for the rest of your 55 minutes of that power hour with clarity. The other gut check I want to give you is, where's your vision board for 2020? If you have been on this team for a year plus, we made vision boards last year together. At the end of 2019, with the unlook of a fresh year ahead of us, I love it. I love that Amanda can just pull hers right on out in front of her face. With the new decade ahead of us, I mean, remember 2019, how excited we were about like this Barbara Walters 2020 sort of perfect year of harmony. Oh, I laugh at my old self sometimes. Laugh at past Brittany. But if you haven't pulled that out in a while, if it's stuck in a closet somewhere, or it's buried in a box, or it's just collecting dust on a shelf, dust it off. This should be in your sight every day. You guys, I can turn and I can show you mine is right there every day. And every day when I write in my Start Today journal, and I journal what I'm grateful for, and I journal the dreams, they are right in alignment with that. And then when I sit down, my actions can be in alignment with long-term vision and also short-term vision. So we're going to break away from just like letting fear drive the bus and never setting goals. We're going to break into setting goals, being part of the 3% that write them out, also committing to clarifying, reviewing, and rewriting them on the daily. Okay, we're getting there, you guys. We're going to break away from inviting being this scary word, or this negative connotation, or this thing that we put off. And we're going to break into being a tribe of women who are sold out on inviting and sharing and linking arms and bringing new people in. It's only scary, you guys. I've been hearing this verbiage a lot, like, that inviting is scary. Well, it's only scary because you're telling yourself it is. Remember what I said at the beginning? You can choose 2 things. You can choose to say it's scary, or you can choose to say it's a gift. And the thing that you continue to loop in your mind is the thing you're going to begin to believe, right? I've also been hearing a lot like, oh, inviting's not my favorite, or because we don't like inviting, let's, dot, dot, dot. And this is the thing, like when you repeat that like that, you breathe life to it. And I'm calling some of my leadership out right now because I've been hearing that a lot from leaders, especially on our team. When we talk about inviting and we frame it around this place where it's not our favorite thing to do, then do you think anyone that comes on your team is ever going to enjoy inviting? Right? We have to take away this negative connotation because at the end of the day, it's a gift. You wouldn't be here. You are sitting in someone else's invitation. You're sitting in someone else's opportunity to get over themselves, drop their ego, wipe off their sweaty palms, and click send. You get to sit in that now because someone else was courageous enough to hit send. Right? So flip our mindset. The other thing that I want you to help you with on this is set weekly numbers. At the beginning of every week, I flip open a new page in my notebook. I use a notebook method, very cheap 50-cent notebook that I buy at Target, right? And I decide my weekly number. And not every week is it the same number. It depends on what's going on, where I'm at with my personal numbers and goals, things like that, right? So not every week is it the same, but I set a number. And then I slightly stretch myself. So for example, let's say that my number was, I'm inviting 10 people this week. A slight stretch would be to say, okay, I'm going to stretch myself to send 15 this week because that's just one more per day, right? A not good example would be if your weekly number was 10 and then you said, I'm going to slightly stretch myself to send 50. Well, now that seems a little daunting, right? So I want you to slightly stretch that number. And what I do is every Monday, you can see this week I've already numbered my paper and I write at the top weekly invites and the date, but I'll flip back from last week for you guys really quick. I write it out, and last week I decided 60 was my number. So I numbered it 1 through 60, and then on Monday I got to work, and on Tuesday I got to work, and on Wednesday I got to work, and I just kept going. And what I do is I highlight pink if they say they want more information, blue if they say not right now, I leave them blank if they don't reply, and then if they do end up purchasing, they get highlighted green. This helps me, you guys, because I can visually see who I'm talking to. I can visually see who wanted more information. So for example, this first girl, Heather, I sent her more information, but I haven't heard back from her. So now I know where I can follow up so she doesn't get lost in the conversation. The people who are not highlighted are very valuable because these are people I can go back to and say, hey, just want to make sure you didn't miss my message, right? Just because I didn't get a response from them doesn't mean that they don't want it. So this helps my follow-ups, you guys, which follow-ups are everything in this business. The fortune is in the follow-up. But I also want to point out that last week I set my goal at 60 and I only hit 45. And one could say, wow, Brittany, you didn't hit your goal. And I could beat myself up and I could call myself a failure and be like, oh, I could never do 60 invites, which is a total lie. There's weeks that I could flip back that I've done more than that. But the point is, I am actually really pleased because I had some really quality invites last week. I had a lot of people reply they wanted more information. I have a lot of emails that I got to send out, and that was a win. So these 45 were really quality invites as opposed to stretching myself to 60 and then not having quality. I will say though, had I gotten to 45 and no one wanted more information and my inbox was empty, then I probably would have sent more invites, right? So you can also assess yourself as you're going. I got to the end of the week and I was satisfied with where I was because I was tracking it. So like I said, we're going to break away from this negative mindset about inviting. Because again, when you frame it around you are sitting in someone else's courageous invite, it changes everything. You get over yourself real quick. You drop the ego. And we're going to be a team that's sold out on sending invites to let people know that there's a space for them at this table. There's so many people doing life alone right now, you guys. I can't even imagine the psychological toll that this year has on a lot of people, especially those who do not have a community to lean on. I know what it's already done to our community, and we have each other, right? And so I can't even imagine. So it would be so selfish not to offer the invite to somebody. Number 6, we're going to break away from being too complex, making things too challenging, and we're going to become more duplicatable. We're going to simplify. I want to break away and be a team that's just sold out on being simplified. Duplication, you guys, is your ability to help others achieve success in the areas you already have. So if you ask yourself right now, am I able to duplicate the success I've had in your fitness journey? Are other people seeing success in their fitness journey because of your example? Okay, maybe they are. Extend it to coaching. Is your team doing what you're doing or a percentage of what you're doing because of how simple you've made it, right? It's up to you to teach your team what you're doing, but it's also important that we make it simple because you can't duplicate what's complex. So, how you're leading is as an example for others to follow is everything. For example, if your morning routine seems way too daunting, then people aren't going to want to join you when you say, let's do this morning routine thing together. But a couple months back, I got this great idea. I have a solid morning routine. Let me teach people how I do it. And so many people thrived because I took an Instagram story template and broke it down as like super simple check boxes and told everybody just check off one. I don't want you to check them all off. Just try one. And then once you feel like you're really good at one, like look at there and see if there's another one you want to add on. And this was like attainable for people. So then I started to see my self-care sisterhood and my teammates duplicating that morning routine and saying, wow, I can do this too. Right? So are you leading as an example that people can follow and breaking it down into simple chunks? Or is it like, does it look too complex? How do you support your challengers and coaches? My advice is to keep it simple because people won't duplicate what's too complex. Okay, and last one, you guys. We're landing the plane, I promise. This one's huge on my heart. So the last thing I want to break away from is being the one who chooses for others. And I want to break away into being the one that lets others decide. And this isn't on here, but I'll start with this. It actually starts with inviting. If I don't invite people, I am saying that I know what's best for them. One of my favorite mentors in Beachbody Corporate, her name is Sydney. She tells a really amazing story about when she got the job at Beachbody Corporate. She's not a coach. She doesn't do the network marketing side. She actually coaches the coaches. So Sydney got this job, and when she got to Beachbody, she realized that there was this whole network marketing thing and coaches and this whole thing she had never known about. She knew about the products, but she didn't know that there was a business opportunity alongside of that. And so when she got the job, she's like, wow, like, how come I've never heard of this? There must be, oh my gosh, hold on real quick, guys. Sorry, I have to mute myself. Okay, I'm so sorry. Frankie's doing something bad. So I don't know if you can hear Charlie. This is bad. Okay. So my favorite story that Sydney tells is when she got to Beachbody, she realized there was this coaching opportunity. She's like, I must know somebody that was a coach. I must. Like, how do I not know anybody? So she dug into her Facebook friends list until she found someone who was a Beachbody coach. She reached out to them and she said, hey, I just got this job with corporate. I had no idea, like, you know, Beachbody is kind of a new thing to me. I knew about the workouts. I didn't know there was this coaching thing. May I ask you, why didn't you ever invite me to become a coach? And her response was that she told Sydney that she didn't think it looked like she needed it, that she looked like she was having fun with her job, that she was thriving in life. She said, I see you on your boat all the time. It looks like you're happy. And Sydney's not response to her, but her response whenever she tells this story, and I hope at some point you get to hear her tell it live, is that she always says, how dare she decide for me? Because at that time in her life, she hated her job. She was really depressed. We know on social media that we can be vulnerable because we've been taught that, right? This is a craft we've all like learned how to do. But remember back before you were a coach, you probably wouldn't have posted some sort of vulnerable, I don't like my job kind of post, right? Most people don't do that. And so she wasn't posting things on social media about her life because that's just not where she was comfortable talking about. But she was silently struggling. And so she said, how dare she decide for me? So before I even talk about like letting others decide who have already said yes to joining us, let's not Let's not decide for others before they even get to say yes or no to us, right? This goes back to that inviting. Let them be the one to decide if this is the right time for them or the right community. But on the other side, so yes, they've said yes to you, they've joined your challenge group, they've joined your team. How are you helping to onboard these new challengers and new coaches? What information are you giving them or directing them to? Here's the deal, you guys. I don't care who you are on my team. I have this silver platter right here. And on this platter, I've got team trainings and I've got Friday workouts and book clubs. And I've got my challenge group. And there's these things called summit and like live meetups. I have this platter. New coach trainings are on here. It's given to every single person on the team. I imagine if I took this platter and I said, I'm sorry, this isn't for you. You said you were just a discount coach. So here, this is for you. What? What would that be? But this is an example of what we're doing when we count people out. When we say, oh, they said they just wanted the discount, or they said that they didn't want to do this, or they did. It's not for me to decide what someone is in this business or wants to be. Because the thing is, remember how belief is built. Go back to that first breakaway. Sometimes we have to believe in these products in our journey. Sometimes we have to believe in the community first before we can even believe in ourselves. And my job as a coach is to believe in you before you believe in you every single time. And so if I decide that I don't believe in you, you know what? You shouldn't be on the team call because you probably can't build. What would that look like, right? But instead I say, hey, I believe in you. Get on this team call because I think it might transform the way you think about things. And then one team call leads to another, and then one power hour leads to another, and then one invite leads to another, right? But I give everyone the opportunity to fly. What if your coach counted you out? What if your coach decided for you that you couldn't be a business builder because you told your coach that you didn't want to be when you first started? And what if they actually listened to you? Right? So we have to help lay the foundation for other people to have success on their journey, whether it's our challengers, our coaches. Give them the silver platter and let them decide what they want to pull off of it. And if they only pull off book club, that's amazing. Next month, is there something else you'd like off this platter? Because it's all for you. You get all of it, right? They placed their trust in you, and it's time to coach them and believe in them, right? Before they can coach and believe in themselves. Remember, I always say, like, the first thing we do as a coach is learn how to coach ourselves on our journey. So we have to coach them before they know how to coach them. And similarly, we have to believe in them before they believe in them. So let others decide. But let them decide over and over and over again. Just like we follow up with people until we're blue in the face, like until one of us dies, I'm going to remind you about my upcoming boot camp, right? So until one of us dies, I'm going to remind you that we've got team trainings and that there's a new coach university happening and that you're totally welcome and invited. Until one of us dies, you can come to Summit with me. Until one of us dies, I think you could go Emerald. Until one of us dies, I believe in you and your possibility to open up a bod group and help serve people. Until one of us dies, right? Be that kind of person. The way you follow up with people to join you, keep following up with people who've already said yes and let them decide. Okay, so recap. This is my challenge for you in the next last little stretch of the year. Let's break away together, right? We've got 30-day breakaway. It's an excellent opportunity to do this. Let's break away from limiting beliefs and break into building belief. Take actions this month that cast votes for your goals, because remember, behavior builds belief. Number 2, we're going to make it about others every day. Be sure to connect and engage with others on social media in meaningful ways. Number 3 was own your schedule. You're going to plan out your week, hold yourself accountable. And hey, just a friendly reminder, Zoom links are still cool. Do you remember when our team used to drop Zoom links like it was freaking like candy? We used to do that all the time. Where are you guys? Like, I'm going to gut check you right now. Y'all used to drop Zoom links like it was like fun to hang out together. And now I can't. Thank you, Ashley, for Friday dropping your Zoom link. That was amazing because you know what? On Friday, I got home from the grocery store and I didn't want to work. And because Ashley dropped her Zoom link, because she was bold enough to do that, I got some things done for my business that I needed to do because Ashley held me accountable, right? Like there's power in that. Zoom links are still a thing, you guys. If you feel like you're not being accountable in your journey, ask yourself, when's the last time you invited other people from our team to join you to work? You guys used to do that so awesome, so I know you still can. Number 4 was clarify your goals. Post your goals where you can see them daily. Set reminders for why you're working. Share your goals with your team. 5, invite, get into people's inboxes with the invite. Number 6 was become duplicatable. Teach your team how to act by how you act, right? Set the standard, make it simple for them. And then the last one was let others decide. Help your new challengers and coaches get results. Give tasks for them. Be the example of what it looks like. And remember that some will and some won't. And it's okay. You just keep going because you can't decide when the time's right for somebody else.